Hotepish with your host, Dwann B. Intelligent ish talk, intelligent shit talk, where we balance the profound with the profane. Political satire, celebrity and expert guests, information and entertainment, conversation and solutions. Leave your feelings at the door.
Thank y'all for joining the nigga. Yes. How y'all doing today? What's up, Jaren? What's up, Evan? Star, Trev, Ty Ward. What up, y'all? Markeith Collins. Thank y'all for joining us. Thank y'all for joining me. Let me start off by saying to all of those new to the channel, please subscribe. Please subscribe and hit the notification bell. Also, for those new to the channel, quick housekeeping because of some concerns raised in the comment sections on a few recent videos. Thank you first of all for the people who are new to the channel. But I do want to address a concern that was raised by a new listener. The new listener said, a couple new listeners said, I tend to cuss and or say nigga too much. Thank you for your concern. But to be very clear, I'm going to continue to cuss, and I'm going to continue to use the word nigga. Capiche? No disrespect is intended to your ears, but if you take disrespect from it, that's your decision, and I'm sorry about that. But no one told Van Gogh what brushes to use when he painted his pictures. Nobody tells Quincy Jones what instrumentation to use when he writes his music. Nobody tells me what language to use when painting my pictures. You dig. You dig. That's right. I'm coming to get my bike back. My nigga. Yeah, this is a male podcast. That's right, Dre D. This is a male podcast for mature minds. Definitely mature minds, because a mature mind can look past the things that bother them, the inconsequential things that bother them. You can do that with a mature mind. And that's who I cater to. You dig? So just wanted to make that clear for anyone who may be new to the channel, who may have concerns. There's my answer. And I ain't changing. I do this because it's fun. If this weren't fun, I wouldn't do it. I live a fun life. And whatever I need to do to keep it fun is what the fuck I'ma do, nigga. What's up, Larry? That's right, Matthew. Profound and profane. That's what this is. So this is the home of the profound and the profane. What's up, Omad? Matthew Wiley, Bug Shelton. But today, we're going to talk about, do black folks just need to do better? This is an old, tired cliche that I hear from every time you see a new black person in the news that did something. You get the Negro contingent running around talking about, we just need to do better. Black folks just need to do better. One black person do something wrong. Now all of a sudden, all 50 million of us in this country just need to do better. One nigga go up and rob a liquor store. We need to do better. And I'm sitting back looking like, all right. What do we need to do better then? What's up, Hostile Takeover? And my nigga Hostile Takeover in the room. That nigga looks like a drawn South Park character. What's up, Aaron? I still can't pronounce. Been knowing you for a damn long time. I still can't pronounce your last name, my nigga. My nigga Aaron Hostile Takeover looks like a South Park character. He looks like a black version of Officer Bar Brady. A black drawn Officer Bar Brady. So, thank you, Akeem. I understand this brother's Haitian, but remember this. This brother's Haitian, but whenever one black person from any part of the diaspora does something, remember, they like to drop all of that drama on black Americans. See, now, if this dude want to pull a surprise for being the 21-year-old author of great poetry, then he would just be Haitian. But since he did something bad, he now gets filed under the general category of black. For those who don't know, Orlando rapper Glock 9 pleaded guilty to identity theft for $10,000 in PPP loan fraud. What the fuck did I just say? Loan fraud. Feds caught Glock showing his loan application to friends through a wiretap on Instagram messages. Oh, damn. See, one reason why I like to bring these stories up is because they sort of tell you their methods in these type stories. Before this, I didn't know. I knew that they were probably reading shit, anything we do on Instagram or whatever, but I didn't know about a wiretap through the messages. Now, I figured they can somehow read the messages, but I thought the whole time, well, they would just go to Instagram and be like, hey, let me look at that nigga's messages. That's what I thought that they was doing. I didn't know that they had a live wire on Instagram messages. Wow. Okay. So this dude got his fraud on, and he admitted it. And the thing that got me, bringing up this story is when the story was released, I just saw a whole lot of people on Twitter and Facebook, less on Facebook because I have a pretty good, I done filtered my Facebook following down to where I don't have too many off-code motherfuckers on Facebook. I delete people off Facebook so goddamn fast. But on Twitter, I've been seeing a lot of off-code behavior. People talking about, hey, we need to do better. Black folks ain't gonna do better if we do things like that. And it seems as if every time black folks are making progress towards anything, you get all of these niggas running around talking about we need to do better. So, what's up, Butter Love? So, when I hear people say we need to do better, my next question is, do better than what? Like, we can't have a few deviants here and there that's going to do some bullshit without all of us being attacked? I've never cheated nobody. As a matter of fact, I got 2 businesses. I didn't even take out a PPP loan because I didn't qualify for certain parts. And there was people out there saying, hey, if you give me an app, if you pay me this, I could do an application to make sure you get that money. And you know what I said? Hell no. No. I am not fucking with the United States government. If I apply for something, it's going to be because I qualify. If I get it, it's going to be because I qualify. I ain't about to fuck around with this government. No. No, no, no. No. So how did I get grouped in with this nigga? So, when I saw this report come up, I immediately thought of all the other levels of fraud that's been going on with this whole PPP thing. And this is something I want all of my black folks in here to share. Share especially with these we need to do better ass niggas. I'm about to show y'all some stuff, some disturbing stuff that's been going on nationwide with these PPP loans. But first, before I go there, get my t-shirts. Y'all know I'm militant than a motherfucker. Reparations now. Black people don't owe anybody anything but an ass whooping. Get the scholar shirts. Fuller, Clark, Welsington, Sertima, Benyakinen, and the Hotepish shirt. Get those right now. Also, get my newest t-shirt. Okay, where did it go? Rebels for the Cause. Nat Turner, Robert Smalls, Bass Reeves, Denmark Vesey, and Jean-Jacques Dessalines. Reminding everybody that we did not get our freedom from We Shall Overcome. And we overcame them plantations and handed out ass whoopings. And that's how we got our goddamn freedom. We won, but didn't properly document the history. So now that's what it's our job to do right now, is to go back and revise history to accurately document the work we as a people put in this motherfucker. You dig? But let's go into what we need to do better than. People say we need to do better. Okay. Better than who? Look at this. March 26, 2021. Indian American Dinesh Shah pleads guilty to $24 million in a COVID relief scheme. You got people coming over here from Larry Goodwell's home country, setting up shop and scamming out of our tax dollars COVID relief money. You don't see other people when there's a lot of Indians here in LA. I ain't seen not one Indian American come around me talking about we need to do better because this motherfucker fucked up. One of my best friends in life is from India. He'll never come around and say no shit like we need to do better with his people because of one motherfucker. But for some reason, you always got black folks that want to be the first one to fall on the sword and talk about what all of us are doing wrong when one nigga fucks up. What's up, Poppin'? This motherfucker, 55 years old, he submitted 15 fraudulent applications to obtain approximately $25 million in forgivable Paycheck Protection Program loans, laundering the proceeds. Damn. See, when I did apply and I did get a small amount of EIDL loan for my business, the one you got to pay back. But every motherfucking cent I spent out of that money has gone back into my business. I swear to God, last year, I spent last summer doing so many training courses. Using that money, I probably spent a good $3,000 just in educating myself. Because that's what we do as black folks. The little we get, overall, we do something with it. Meanwhile, I remember last year at the same time when people were having that EDD scam. Yeah, I saw all those niggas out there buying Gucci belts. I saw them scamming and doing fraud. But I know the little 20 and 30 grand them niggas was taking, that didn't have shit on what these other motherfuckers was doing. So I left them alone. Because we live in a thug nation. In this thug nation, thug shit will happen. I get it. So I'm not going to criticize another black man or black youngster for doing a little bit. Now, if they get caught, then I'm also not going to protest for them. If you get caught, little homie, you got to go to jail. I'm not going to protest for you for doing wrong. But I'm not going to sit here and shit on them. Because this is a thug-ass nation that does a lot of thug-ass things. Uh-oh, I got a comment I want to call out. Before I go back. Got a comment I want to call out. Let me make sure y'all can see the comment. Got a comment I want to call out. With all respect. You know, she said, stop playing Dwann. Stop playing dumb. You know the majority of BM do horrible things to one another and their women. The majority of black men do horrible things, huh? I'm going to need you to back that up. with some facts, ma'am, please. The majority? So the people who are most policed are doing the majority of horrible things. What horrible things are black men doing to one another and the women? What are black men doing to black women that black women aren't doing to black women? It's another way to ask that question. See, we get this a lot. People believe what they see on TV. They'll conflate a few black people doing small level criminal activities with others doing major criminal activity. They'll take that exception of the exception and say, and as a black man, I now have to wear the burden of what a few other niggas did. While other men of other races get to walk around with their head up high, not having to bear the burden of the degenerates within their society and what they do. Ebony said, who the fuck said that? The proof is in their behaviors. My eyes are open. I need no proof. No, that's not proof. I need you to come harder than that. It's gonna prove. I need you to break it down. Why black men do the most to black society and black women. I need you to break that down. She keeps telling me I am one guy. No, you are one woman. Have you ever thought that? Have you ever thought that your experiences are synonymous with you? Your experiences are what you attracted? The law of attraction is real. If one continues to attract degenerates and degenerate behavior, that means one should look in the mirror. Because no, I don't have degenerates around me. I'm not acting. I was raised in the middle of South Central LA, and I know absolutely zero killers. So I'm waiting to find out. She says, so are you saying the majority of black men aren't choosing? Okay, now you're not making sense. No, the majority of black men aren't choosing wrong. Some people are choosing wrong, not the majority. Shit. I got the experience of my entire family and every woman that I've met under my belt to back that up. Well, you know a lot of degenerates, Samantha. If you know that means degenerates, that means you have some, and this isn't personal, but it just means you have some internal work to do. You probably need to see a therapist and wonder and find out what that is inside of you that has so many degenerates wrapped around you in your life. You can't blame black people. Blame yourself. Michael Jackson says, I'm starting with the man in the mirror. Ooh. I'm asking him to change his ways. Ooh. Listen to that song. If you want to make the world a better place, take a look at yourself and make that change. Somebody said, Dwann, you from the 60s. No, I'm not from 60s. I'm not from no goddamn hood. I never associate my name with no fucking gang in LA. I'm not that stupid. I had a father in the house. No disrespect to the people who did bang. But it was really only a few bangers growing up. Most of these niggas running around saying blood and cuz. Them niggas had stable homes. Them niggas just trying to act hard. No, I'm not from 60s. Do I know a lot of 60s? Hell yeah. I know a fuck ton of 60s. I also know a fuck ton of Inglewood families. I know a bunch of 40s. I know some A-Trays. I know some BPS. I know some Fruittown. I know some East Coast. I know all them niggas. I do not associate with gangs. No. But I'm going to stop giving that person attention that's going around saying all black men, because it's looking as if, what's up, Jeff Brown, in the building? And Uncle Jeff told me, please don't sing. All right, Jeff. All right. All right, Uncle Jeff, I ain't going to sing. You see, Samantha? Black men showing love to one another. Did you see that? No. My man Jeff Brown in the building. That's my dog right there. Much love to you, Jeff Brown. But no, I've always respected the gang culture enough to not throw my hat in that race. Because it's all the gangsters I know, them niggas is really gangsters. And I'm not going to disrespect them, because them and me live two totally separate lives. And all the gangs I know the real gangsters I know were born into situations where they had to be gangsters to survive. So I respect the gangsters too much to act as if I was one of them. I was the square. I was the square of the hood. I was the square. But back to what we talking about. Because again, these we all need to go on. But the reason why I use that person as an example is because she said it herself. Her and the people around her, the lady who made the comment, is around a bunch of degenerates. So these are generally the people saying we need to do better. Trying to indict the whole black society because of the misdeeds of their small inner circle of degenerates. My answer to that is no. You need, and that bloodline needs serious healing, because there are bloodlines within black society that do need healing. We really do. There are black bloodlines that were raised on bug breaking farms in Baltimore and New Orleans. There are bloodlines that were perpetual house slaves that every daughter that was born was the mammy to the slave master. There are a lot of things that we do need to clear up. But the things that need to be cleared up have to be assumed and taken on by those who need it cleared up. I don't come from a family of degenerates, so that's not my deal to clean up. I can put information out there to help those who are willing, but there's nothing I can actually do. You know what I'm saying? Because that issue doesn't affect my bloodline on either side, my mom or my dad, or the 64 grandparents that I have that just 5 generations back. Healing. It's not a we need to do better. It's a you need to do better. You're right, Dexter Robinson. Epigenetic trauma. That's why we have to heal ourselves. Going around talking about what other people need to do is a non-starter. And that person must be the one thumbs down. See what happens when these degenerates get called out for their family's degeneracy? They want to thumbs down the video and get mad at the rest of us. No, nigga, we need you to step up so you can catch up to the rest of us who are about ending white supremacy and replacing that system with a system of justice. So this is one person that did major fraud. Here's another one. A California man, July 9th, 2021, was arrested for 3.6 in PPP and EIDL fraud, submitting exaggerated payroll figures and fake tax documents. This person's name is Libinitz Tran. That's not a black name. Ain't no niggas walking around Compton or Brooklyn named Libinitz Tran. So when you say black folks need to do better than what? This? 3.6 million? Because when this corona shit first popped off a year and a half ago, when his money was getting distributed, we saw niggas, we did see niggas getting 10, 20 grand, 30 grand. I know a couple niggas got like 100 grand. That pales in comparison to what these motherfuckers is doing. And look at this one here. This is the big one. This family, Richard Avizan, Russian immigrant, came to the United States in 1989 as an immigrant. If you read this article, he's had run-ins with the law all throughout his time in the United States of America. He applied for 151 loans to mainly sham businesses. Show me the black person for all of these we need to do better niggas. Show me the black person anywhere in this country that has done it that big. $18 million in fraud. Thank you, Quan. Black people are the moral compass of the world. That's a fact. That's a good question, Fetty TV. Why wasn't he deported years ago? These people, see, while they're trying to push us to the side, and you got Tamika Mallory and all these Negroes in the Congressional Black Caucus marching for immigrants, this is what the fuck immigrants are doing. You may be asking yourself, how did he get so many sham businesses? Let me tell you a game that they run. They run it less now. But before 2000 and really before 2010, the game really started getting shut down around 2010, 2007. But this shit was wide open before that and really wide open back in the 90s. You would have, and I found this game out from one of my Persian homeboys. One of my Persian homeboys, he was trying to get me back in the day to marry this Persian, is one of his Persian cousins. And they were going to give me like 60 G's to do it. But I couldn't do that shit, man. And I was broke too. Anybody who knows 2009, 2010, that's when I was in the mortgage business still. and the mortgage industry had collapsed all the way. I went from driving a $70,000 Audi A6, having a house in Pasadena that I bought for $690,000 at the age of 23, to living with my parents and having to get rid of that Audi and drive a goddamn 2002 Chevy Tahoe during that time. So a nigga was broke. I could have used that $60,000. But I didn't take it. Because he said what they'll do is they'll get someone to come over here and you'll get someone to marry, and they're going to pay me 30 grand up front to marry the chick. We had to stay married for like 2 years or some shit like that. They were going to rent. They were going to pay my rent in the apartment that me and old girl was supposed to be living in the whole time, and then drop another 30 on me afterwards. And I told them, hell no. Because he said what they do is oftentimes is they come over here. They're trying to get her to come over here this time and be married because she had been over here before. Because what they would do is they would come over here to the United States. They would take social programs back at home, back in where he was from, in Armenia land, or where the fuck he was from. They would take these classes on owning a shop in the United States. And when they get here, they would get like $100 grand and money to open up their business on consignment. And what they would do is once they get that money, they would go back home and take those same classes under a different name and then come back to the United States again. And sometimes they would do that 2 and 3 times, getting $100 grand every time they came back. And each time they come, they would set up these businesses and get business loans. So when I read this article here, and I'm able to see this dude was able to have 151 different shadow businesses, that makes sense. See, if you don't know the game, you're thinking, okay, how can one person? No, one person didn't open that. But when you have a network of people who've been doing fraudulent shit, like country hopping and coming back with a new name and a new business, these entities are already set up. You don't see black people doing this kind of shit. And what did he do when he got the money? When he got the money, they said they spent it lavishly. They put 640 grand into their $3.25 million hillside house in Tarzana. I know that neighborhood very well. So does Larry. They bought another estate. They bought jewelry. Look at this. They got cash, gold, and diamond earrings and watches. That's for you niggas that like to run around and say, man, the minute black folks get money, the first thing we do is buy bullshit. That's why black folks can't get ahead. All black folks do is buy bullshit. See, if it weren't for Michael Jordans, if black folks wouldn't buy Jordans, we'd be in a better economic situation. We's our own worst enemy. We just needs to do better. You old John Lewis looking ass niggas. We just needs to do better. Look at what happened. This motherfucker get money. He had 450 grand of that shit in cash. That when they came to go arrest and seize him, cash went tumbling down the hill. These motherfuckers bought cash, gold, diamond earrings, and watches. Spent 35 G's on a Rolex. All around the world, same song. But you got these degenerate family having ass niggas that want to act like we the only ones that do this shit. Let me tell you something. Black folks do not floss hard. No, we don't. No, we don't. Not relative to the rest of America. We floss, but we don't floss like them. I remember one of my other Armenian homeboys when I worked in loans. Back in the days when I did work in loans, I had this one Armenian coworker named George. And he used to always come to me because George also had he owned a booth in a swap meet that would sell fraudulent Breitling watches. And he would come to me, he'd be like, yeah, I was like a lot of you dumb niggas back then. I used to be like, man, I know black folks be all up in your shop buying these fake watches. He said, yeah, black customer good. I have lots of black customers. But I have way more Armenian customers and Persian customers. I said, huh? And George gave me the game. He was like, no, you think black people floss. No. And he used the word floss because he was one of them dudes that rappers and people will go to get fake shit. He also had real jewelry too, but most of his shit was fake. He's like, nope. He said, Armenians come here to America. If you see them in a Mercedes, it's going to be salvaged. Not going to be a real new Mercedes. It's going to be some shit that was salvaged. He said they may buy a home, but they got the house on money that the United States gave them. It'll be in Glendale. It'll look nice on the outside, but it won't have any furniture on the inside. He's like, Armenians are really bad at having functions, basically, with people coming over to the house. Because everything that we spend our money on, this is him talking, he said, everything we spend our money on is flashy. Because we want to outlook and outdo other Armenians. That's all we care about, is looking better than other Armenians. And when he told me that, I was like, whoa. And I spent like 2 or 3 years around George. Me and George were really cool. And I got to go to some of the family functions and some of the things that they would have. And I would see like, God damn, this motherfucker ain't lying. See, black people buy the fake jeans, but who makes them? Black people may buy the fake Jordans, but who's selling them? All around the world, same song. Look at this shit. And to make this motherfucker even worse, instead of him taking the blame for it, the motherfucker blamed his wife. Threw his whole wife under the bus. And you got black folks walking around with our heads down thinking that these groups got one over on us. Look at the world around you, people. Like I said in my last broadcast, as above, so below. That's a law. That's a human nature law. If the environment is a fraudulent, fucked up environment, like the United States is, you can expect fraudulent, fucked up behavior to go on within the house. And yes, there will be black people who participate in the fraud fuckery. You don't fix it by saying, well, we need to do better. You fix it by securing the underlying needs that pushes people to do these fraudulent things. Got all these other groups coming over here stealing our money and then telling us, and then every time reparations is on the table, you got the newspaper and the media interviewing one of these foreign motherfuckers who came over here on some bullshit talking about why they don't think that we should get reparations. Meanwhile, they got their reparations because they didn't sacrifice it, like our grandparents sacrificed a generation. They sacrificed themselves for civil rights legislation. Our grandparents sacrificed themselves to get black people into the workforce. Going back to A. Philip Randolph, 1941. Threatened to bring 1 million people down to Washington and march on Washington in front of FDR if black people were not allowed to integrate high-paying military defense jobs, civilian defense jobs, Raytheon, Boeing, the people making the airplanes and shit like that. A. Philip Randolph sacrificed a generation to make that happen. You got these groups of people who are unwilling to sacrifice a generation at home to change things at home for the betterment of their children and grandchildren. They're unwilling to do what our grandparents and great-grandparents did. So they get their reparations when they come here. The minute they land on United States shores, their reparations have already been gotten. Then they be like, well, I did not know the language when I got here. I came to America without knowing the language. Hell, most of you motherfuckers still don't know the goddamn language, but you got money. If your skill that you came to America and got rich off of was so goddamn dope, why couldn't you get rich off of it at home? It's because there wasn't enough money to go around. Why wasn't there enough money to go around? It's because the leadership in your nation is selling off your natural, valuable resources for chicken change and keeping all the money. And instead of you and your people sacrificing a generation and not standing for it at home, y'all just be like, oh, fuck it. We gonna go over to where them niggas sacrifice a generation and come up off that. And in the meantime, we have to, here domestically, we got to deal with black folks running around talking about we need to do better. No. What we need is for those of us who are on cold, just to leave you off cold motherfuckers behind. You'll either catch up or you'll fall to the wayside. Either way it go, you ain't going to slow us down. All you got to do, see these we need to do better Negroes, all you got to do is ask them a question or two. All you got to do is ask them a question or two. And you going to find out real fast that, no. We don't need to do better. You need to do better, nigga. Shit. Remember this also. Sunday, August 1st, I got my Communicating Racism to Children workshop. This is a very, very, very limited seating. Extremely limited seating. Get your seat today. It's almost sold out. I'm going to have a very small amount of people in here. I'm making it very affordable. Black folks are behind the 8 ball all the time because we're ill-prepared as youth on how to confront this racist system that we live in. So I'm taking my methods that I've honed for over 20 years, working with families and communication with children, and I'm doing what I charge $175 an hour to do over multiple sessions in one workshop for only $34.99. If you type in the product code on code, you get it for $29.99. I'm doing this for bare bones minimum. So if you want to understand how to communicate racism and world events to your children in the way that they understand and can do something about constructively, sign up for the workshop right now. It's extremely limited because the capacity, because I want to be able to talk to every single person that's in there. I'm doing this webinar style where we're all going to be sitting in there in a circle together virtually. And I'll be able to ask your questions and give you specific help. Back to what the fuck we's talking about. Oh shit, my book is on the way. I had a book I ordered on Amazon. I was supposed to come yesterday. I ordered Ancient and Modern Britons. To talk about the Moorish presence in Europe. But that's another story. I'll do a whole broadcast on that. I'll do a whole nother broadcast on that. But that book is 6 stops away, according to Amazon. I'm going to speed read that motherfucker. I'll probably be done reading that book within a couple hours. I'm going to speed read it, and then I'm going to go back and regular read it at regular speed. That's kind of how I read. I speed read and I read at regular pace. That's usually what I do when I read books. It only take me a couple hours to speed read a book that's a few hundred pages. That's a good point, Buck Shelton. Immigrants that look like us sleep on diamonds, gold, silver, oil, sapphire, rubies, and starving, talking crap about us. Akon. Fuck that. Akon gonna anchor baby his ass over here and tell us we need to forget slavery. I ain't forgetting shit. My 5 times great grandfather was enslaved in Natchez, Mississippi, and couldn't get his freedom in 1855 when his slave master granted him his freedom because the whole Mississippi government came down and said, no, we've changed our mind. His slave master / father granted my great-great-great-granddaddy's freedom in 1855 in Natchez, Mississippi, which at the time was one of the wealthiest cities in the United States of America because of its cotton production. The whole Mississippi state legislature came down on him and said, no, he can't get his freedom. And I got dickheads like Akon telling me to forget slavery. Fuck you, Akon. If you listen to this, here is the newspaper clipping right here. I keep this newspaper clipping on my computer desktop. My great-great-great-great-granddaddy had to stay enslaved for 10 more years until the Civil War because some sissy named Judge Parker said that he wouldn't follow the wishes of Nathaniel Hoggett, my 6 times great-grandfather, aka slave master of my 5 times great-grandfather, granting him his freedom, and the motherfucking state would not let that happen. The grandson of Mr. Hoggett, my 5 times great-grandfather, his grandson, my 3 times great-grandfather, invented the automatic railroad crossing in Michigan. Sold that patent to the railroad line and moved his family to Los Angeles, where I still reside today. And I got a motherfucker like Akon telling me to forget that and move on. This motherfucker Akon, he looks like a seal that battery acid leaked on. You ugly motherfucker. Don't ever tell me you ain't even from here what we should do as black Americans. You're out of line, sir. Now, I don't want no problems with Akon, I'll tell you that. I was there in Vegas. I'm not Vegas. I was there in Phoenix for the All-Star weekend when his bodyguard knocked out Suge Knight. I was there in 2009. So I don't want no problems, Akon. I saw your bodyguard, that nigga with them big ass hands. As a matter of fact, I shook that nigga's hand about an hour and a half before he knocked out Suge Knight because I was in a cabana next to him. That shit was funny. It was the All-Star game had just ended. It was a big old party at the Lowe's. Is it the Lowe's or W? I get the 2 hotels confused because I'm dyslexic. But it was either the Lowe's or the W. I think it was the W in Scottsdale. There was an after party for the All-Star game. All the different All-Stars are there. Vince Carter, Mutombo. Mutombo went All-Star. He's retired by then, but he was there. LeBron was there. Everybody was there. And Suge Knight had a booth next to Akon's booth overlooking the pool. And all night, Suge Knight's people was in a dick swinging contest with Akon's people, ordering bottle service, ordering Cristal and Ace of Spades and that shit. $5,000 a bottle. These niggas having a pissing contest on who can order more. The shit got a little heated. Suge went to go step on up. This nigga Akon's bodyguard, this nigga Knuckles, looked like extra black sausages. Big ass fingers. That nigga hit Suge Knight one time in his face. Clack high. I think that nigga Suge was asleep before he hit the ground. They said he fractured that motherfucker's face. That's what the news report said. I saw that shit and was like, okay, time to go. The minute I get down to the steps, I'm getting ready to walk down the steps to leave. I got pushed to the side by like no less than 60 Scottsdale officers in riot gear and guns. I'm like, how the fuck do y'all already got y'all riot gear on? This shit just happened 45 seconds ago. And that was the second time Suge Knight got knocked out in about a year period. I was there for that shit. So, Akon, I don't want to fight. Your bodyguards, I done seen what your bodyguards do to niggas. I saw what your bodyguard did to Suge Knight with my own eyes. And I don't want that. Yeah, Suge, you're right, Rob McCoy. Suge went night. What's up, Eric Bond? Yeah, Suge was drunk. Suge was drunk. He was drunk. He was very drunk. Yeah, he was very drunk when that happened. But yeah, you're right. The Chinese own Akon. Akon talking about all that shit he building in Africa. Nigga, the Chinese people is building that with your dumbass name on the front of it. That's true, FBA Strong. We got warriors who can give work too. I know that. Yes, I think it was a Vegas barber that knocked out Suge Knight. Yep. Suge was getting knocked out a lot around 2008, 2009. But Akon sings a bastardized version of foundational Black American music. Akon is part of the cause. One of the root. If we look at the degeneration of Black music, Akon is going to be at the forefront of that. He's going to be at the forefront of the devolvement of Black music. Akon made hits, but when you put him next to a Marvin Gaye or a Teddy Pendergrass or hell, even a Keith Sweat, he ain't shit. But yeah, so Black folks, the message is this. We need to just keep on doing what we do. The positive amongst us, the progressive amongst us, need to continue to be positive and progressive. We need to continue to rally our business folks together and get on code. If some off-code Negroes want to continue to be off-code and not do better, that's not our problem. Again, if off-code Negroes want to continue to be off-code and not do better, that's not our problem. When George Washington wanted to revolt against England, he didn't say we need to get all of the colonies together. He didn't say we need to do this. We need to get better. It wasn't no we shit. He took the few, estimates are somewhere between 3 and 5% of people in the colonies who were willing to die for freedom. He took them 3 to 5% that were willing to die and went to war with the strongest army in the world at that time. There's never been a revolt, revolution, or anything that's ever been done that needed everybody to come together. Fact is, most people are followers. 90% of people are followers. The 90% follow the 10%. Critical mass theory. The 90% follow the 10%. You only need a critical mass. So while you're out there trying to get Pookie and Ray Ray to catch up, you're losing. Because you can't get Pookie and Ray Ray to catch up. Pookie and Ray Ray have to answer that call internally, inside of them. And like life says, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. It's an old proverb. When the student is ready, the teacher will appear. And when the teacher is ready, the master will appear. When people answer that internal call to wake up, that's when those of us who are enlightened, those of us who see the bigger picture, that's when we reach back to help those brothers and sisters. When they've gotten that internal call to grow, do more, know more. That conversation is between that person and God. That conversation is between that person and their higher self. You got to be an ego-driven motherfucker to think that you can save somebody. That's that church shit niggas have in their head. That's that church shit. Me and my wife was talking about that the other day. It's that church shit. Thinking that there's going to be some savior. Thinking that you ain't got to do nothing. No, 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 no. You got to be ready. That church shit is still in our head, for real, for real. Let me say that one more time. That church shit is still in our head, for real, for real. And it comes out in the most inconvenient ways, at the most inconvenient times. When Dr. Phil Valentine once said, he's a recovering Christian, always. And you are. We are. I'll show you how much I've been in church my whole life growing up. Someone that posted this on Facebook. I added this shit up. How churchy are you? Nigga, my shit added up to $150 a churchy. Been baptized? Yep. Spoke in tongues? Yep. Sang in the choir? I sang in the youth choir. I played the drums for the choir, so that yeah. I didn't sing, but I played the drums. Led a song? Nah, I didn't lead a song. Seen a demon? I seen a demon get cast out. They was always casting out demons at Bible camp, at youth camp, in church. Man, every time we had Bible camp, man, we'd be sitting around a bonfire and the minister would always be casting out one of the it would always be a couple kids in church that was Bloods or Crips. My church, I found out most about gang life growing up in LA at church. Cause my church was like neutral grounds for all the different street niggas. Seemed like every street nigga in LA went to my church. So they was always casting demons out, these niggas. Attended a foot washing service, yep. I had to pay the drums for that shit. Taking communion, yep, every first Sunday. Been in 3 services in one day, yep. I used to have to play the drums for 8 o'clock service, 11 o'clock service, and then come back and play the drums for 6 o'clock Sunday night service every first Sunday. Every second Sunday, I mean. Praise dance? Nah, praise dance was always stupid to me, even back in church. So I didn't praise dance. Shouted in church, ho shama laka 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 laka. I used to feel guilty that I couldn't speak tongues properly. That's That's how much I was in church when I was a teenager. Because I would listen to people speaking in church in tongues. There'll be ho shama laka laka laka, and them niggas would sound like Bone Thugs in Harmony. And I'm gonna miss everybody. Everybody. I'd be like, how do y'all do that? Because when I spoke in tongues, it was always la 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 la. Or sokada 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 sokada. Sokada laka 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 laka. Sokada laka laka laka. Laka sokada laka. And then Sister Joanne would be 2 seats over. And I'd be like, how is she doing that? Yo, and I would be sitting in church as a kid like, damn, Jesus don't fuck with me like that, man, because I can't speak in tongues like Crazy Bone. Sister Flodine sounded like straight up. It's Bone and Biggie, Biggie. It's Bone and Biggie, Biggie. Only dangerous. That's how Sister Flodine started. Spoken tongues. She sounded like Biggie Smalls on the song he did with Bone and Biggie. I'm like, how is Sister Flodine doing that? Yeah, right, Smokes. That's how I would say, boom shakalaka. Be like, boom shakalaka, shakalaka, shakaloom. Nigga like that. Boom, what's that? Whoop, there it is. I'd be like, whoop, there it is. Boom, shakalaka, shakalaka, shakalaka. That was how I spoke in church in tongues. I'm like, man, Sister Glodine, you can rap the way you speaking in tongues. Attended a convention, yep, did that. I done did plenty of conventions on the drums. Preached the word. I did have to preach one time in youth service. In youth service, I would sit around, I would always crack jokes in youth service. So one time the youth minister said, all right, Dwann, since you always want to crack jokes, next Wednesday, you're going to have to preach the word. And that nigga made me preach. But I had some niggas laughing in church. So yeah, I preached one time in youth service. Rest in peace, Elder Joe Phillips, my youth minister. I was like 15. Been prophesized to? Yep. One of the prophecies was bullshit. The dude was like, you're going to be an accomplished actor. I'm like, man, I hate acting. I ain't read nobody else's line. The fuck you talking about? The second one says, been prophesied to correctly. Yeah, one nigga did get it. Elder Tolliver at Zoe Christian Fellowship when I was like 12. He was like, I could see you being a coach one day. I could see you. And he didn't know nothing about me. He was like, I can see you coaching one day. You just have that ability. The Lord is telling me you got the ability to coach. And little did I know, 20 years later, I was coaching basketball. And I'm a behavioral coach. Also, Elder Tolliver was right on that one. He was right. Attended a revival. Yep, I had to pay the drums for a revival. Like, I have to pay the drums for other churches' revivals. But y'all don't understand. When you pay the drums for a church's revival, that's going to be at least $200 in your pocket as a drummer on the low end for revival service. So if somebody called me to play a revival service, hell yeah, I'm getting that $250 and I'm only 19. Shit. Yes, sir. So yeah, that's how goddamn churchy I was. Church is a motherfucker, boy. Church is a motherfucker. But that transitions me to what else I want to talk about today. I think I'm going to do a whole separate broadcast on this, but I'm going to go into it right now. Because people ask me to. Some people ask me to talk about the Moors. So I'm going to talk about it a little bit. I'm going to talk a little bit about the Moors in this Facebook post that I put up a couple days ago that people are still sharing on Facebook and Instagram. Hey, you're right, Jeff. Drummer's the second best church gig for. You right about that. Jeff, I know you play the drums in church. Somebody asked, do I believe in any of it? Let me answer that question. That's a good question. Church definitely has. Look, nothing could be around that long and be that powerful if it wasn't filled with the truth. There's a lot of truth in church. There's a lot of realness in church. It's connected to our ancient spirituality. The problem is rolled up, injected, stepped on, infiltrated, and fucked up by a whole bunch of falsehoods, misdirections, lies, and bullshit. So for those who take church literally, they're not going to manifest the fruits of their work, spiritual work in the church, because the church is purposely misguiding you in a lot of ways. They take a lot of your real life principles and they twist them. So my relationship with church now is I keep what worked, because there were things that worked, and I throw the West out. Treating others the way I want to be treated, I still do that. Having integrity, I still do that. Loving my neighbor, I still love my neighbor as long as my neighbor don't fuck me over. There's still a lot of tenets and principles that I was taught in church that I still live by. Give 10% to the pastor. Fuck and no, I don't do that. Church has some of the most degenerate music you ever want to hear. Church has the most self-loathing, self-hating behavior. Oh, I'm not worthy, Lord. Lord, I'm not worthy. Shut the fuck up. You were born worthy. Nigga, call yourself James, nigga, because you worthy. The fact that you was born out of a billion sperm and your ass made it, you came here worthy. But the church want to make it seem like you ain't worthy until you pay your 10% and join the church and come every Sunday and read the word of God. The Bible itself says, in all you're getting, get an understanding. And the last thing niggas in church want to do is get an understanding. I got rid of that bullshit, that subservient shit the church taught us. Dedication to some of the... You're right, some of the worst people I ever met with in church. You're right. I used to play the drums in church. My eye-opening experience with me was when I was like 19. That's when I started playing the drums more like in Hollywood and these different clubs around town. I wasn't just playing in church anymore. And I would notice when I would go to revivals at other churches and stuff, it was always a bunch of bullshit. Other church musicians were mean as hell. I mean, one time I was playing at this one church. It was called Maranatha. It was funny too when I talked to Kevin McCall, a Grammy Award-winning producer, Kevin McCall. He was telling me that he played there. I remember one time as a teenager I had to play at that church, and I got on a drum set, and I mean right when I sat down on the drum set, I heard their church drummer say, "Hey man, get my snare, man. Don't let that nigga play on my shit." And I was like, "What?" This was like a Sunday night service. Mind you, literally the night before, I was playing the drums at the Whiskey A Go-Go on Sunset Boulevard. And the musicians at the Whiskey, because at the Whiskey, you'll see, if you drive by on Sunset, you'll see musicians already have the instruments already set up outside. That's because you only got like 20 minutes for the other band to get their shit off stage and you to get your shit on stage. And I remember when I was at the Whiskey, the other drummers were actually helping me put my shit up on stage. And they were so nice. I was like, hold on. Why is the church more evil than Sunset Boulevard? That's when I started realizing the church was a bunch of bullshit. Ivor said he refused to join and play music. See, Manuel, you said that's your childhood church? Yeah, Maranatha. That was what was his name? He came out of Fred Price's church. What was his name? He divorced his wife. What was your pastor's name, Manuel? I forgot his name. He was a cool dude. Yeah, but I remember playing and I was like, man, these niggas at Maranatha are worse than the motherfuckers at the Whiskey. Keith Kelsey said there's weed on Sunset. That's funny. Everybody laughing at that clip of me and Kevin McCall next to each other. Even Kevin had to repost that clip just yesterday. He Instagrammed me yesterday. Like, he was like, bro, look on your face. But yeah, man, it's all a game. It's all a game. Yeah, church. So I say when it comes to church, do church at your own discretion. Make sure church is for you and only you and your spiritual growth. You don't need to be out there trying to preach to other people. That's where church get crazy. But here's my Hotep-ish history moment. And please donate to the Cash App. I thank you, Zigzagger, for the Cash App. I appreciate that. But let's go to our Hotep-ish history moment. I put this post up a couple days ago because oftentimes black people don't really understand all history is a current event. Dr. John Henry Clark says that. And yes, we're going through a lot as a people. But a lot of what we're going through as a people is get back for how some of our ancestors treated other people on this planet. I'm not saying this to excuse slavery. I'm not saying this to excuse Europeans' behaviors. None of that. I'm only bringing this up as context. Because when you understand things in context, I find that, see, one thing about me, I don't berate you guys' intelligence. I know the people listening to me are extremely intelligent. So I speak to the intelligent. There are enough people out there that speak to dumb people. Dummies have more than enough representation on TV. Dummies can listen to Cardi B interview Joe Budden all day and not hear a word I have to say. That's not the people listening to this station. The people listening to this station are very intelligent. And a lot of you guys often know things that I don't know. I learned from you guys. Salute to Brother Ivor for a couple weeks ago. I forgot what it was, but he gave me some shit that I did not know. This is a circle of intelligent black people. So I'd like to bring information to the intelligent amongst us, because with your intelligence, you can then think, move, act, and watch how you move about this planet a little better. Why black people were enslaved by Europeans makes sense when you understand the Dragon Moors. Remember, the Moors had two different components. You had the Dragon Moors and you had the Phoenix Moors, or Phoenicians. The Phoenix Moors were known for going around the world, bringing science, math, technology, raising the vibration, bringing toilets, raised sidewalks, information and education. But then there are also the Dragon Moors. These niggas were hilarious. The Dragon Moors used to come up into Europe and they would see these white boys walking down the street and they just slap them. They would just slap random motherfuckers walking down the street and then take they bitch. The Dragon Moors didn't believe in enlightening and educating the people. They believed in keeping these Europeans and these others as their slaves. See, Europe during the Dark Ages, before the 1100s, was divided upon ethnic lines, tribal lines. The Visigoths, the Franks, the Vandals, the Anglos, the Saxons, the Huns, the barbarians. And the Moors would play along those divisive lines to keep Europe in a dark age. They would not allow Europeans to trade with the rest of the world. So when the troubadours finally kicked the last Moors out of southern Spain in 1492, there was reason to celebrate. And there's also reason to have fear of the Black Moor, the Blackamoor, because they saw, one, the science and technology that we had that they couldn't fuck with. Two, they knew that we'd be kicking their asses just because. I want black people to remember this. DNA holds memory. So when we got caught slipping and we lost the upper hand, of course they're going to enslave us. Here's the difference. We had them under our thumb for literally thousands of years. Some say we created them. Think about that for a moment. Some say we created them to be our slaves. For that, I encourage you to read. Look up more Bobby Hemmett. Look up some other shit. When they got the upper hand over us, it's been less than half a millennium, and we still doing what the fuck we doing as a people? We some bad motherfuckers. We was only enslaved by these motherfuckers for a couple hundred years. And not all of us were enslaved. They try to tell you that when Europeans came over here, they stole all these motherfuckers from Africa, acting as if the millions of black folks that were already here weren't. They only had a couple hundred years on us. And we as black people are already turning the tide now, in this present moment. That's why they got to push this old LGBTQ shit. That's why they got to flood the country with all these goddamn immigrants. You got to realize I'm circling all of this back to where we started. We started talking about these immigrants coming to the United States off of what we built. Because they couldn't build it back at home. Now they coming to the United States as buffer classes to further put black people on the bottom end of the economic totem pole. They're doing this, the government is doing this because they know who we are. They know who we are. The problem is we don't know who we are. Let me go back to my other Facebook post that I did. They know who we are. We don't. And that's the problem. And that's also part of the reason why I have this show. To always constantly remind us of who we are. Where the fuck is that post? I'm trying to show y'all this post that I put up. Because y'all know on my Facebook, I get in these moments to where I just feel like teaching. And usually these moments come late at night. Where is that post? I'm looking for it. God damn it, I can't find it. I can't find it. Well, anyway, I'll find it. Anyway, black people, they also know who we are when we are at our best. Phoenix. The Phoenix Moors. The Phoenicians. That's why the city of Phoenix is named Phoenix. Did you know that? The city of Phoenix got its name out of respect for the Phoenix Moors. When the city of Phoenix was being, here it is, I found the post. See, Facebook like hiding shit. Whenever you post, you ever notice some shit? I could post some bullshit on my page. I could post some bullshit all day and find it. Shit, the minute I post some real shit, it's kind of hard to go back and find sometimes. The Phoenix Moors, when the city of Phoenix was founded by Daryl Dupa and Jack Swilling, they named the city Phoenix because when they got to their city, they came upon something called the Pueblo Grande Ruins, a city occupied between 700 and 1400 AD. How did they know these motherfuckers were probably the Phoenicians? Because of the irrigation system the Pueblo Grande Ruins had. It was technology that was synonymous with Moorish occupation. People forget that the Moors colonized the western United States. Well, they had a lot of the United States colonized. But the reason why the Spaniards, came right to Mexico through California, Arizona, is because that's what they had the maps to. That's where the Moors took them during the Reconquista. They know who we are. We don't know who we are. So you can expect them to continue to bring immigrant classes over. You can expect them to try the police brutality, the miseducation, the lies, the misnomers, and all the bullshit. Because the longer they keep us separated from who we really are as a people, keeping us deaf, dumb, blind, and confused, the more they can continue to manipulate us. Now, I'm not saying what you need to do when it comes to status. I don't get too much into that status thing. A lot of brothers from the Moorish Science Temple want to be like, they want to tell you to get a certain status. And I'm not against them for saying that. But I also understand this about the system of white supremacy. They classify people in two classes, white and non-white. If they classify you as non-white, you can call yourself black, Negro, Latinx, whatever you want to call yourself. You're still a nigga. You can call yourself Moor, free national citizen. They still see you as non-white. So I'm not one to say what we need to do as far as natural status. If you feel that's what you need to do, then by all means, go ahead and do it. I'm saying that to say no matter whatever they call you, we are who we are. And I come from the philosophy of they stole from us along the lines of black, Negro, colored, mulatto, whatever. We'll get our shit back along those same lines to minimize confusion. Because you can call yourself whatever the fuck you want. If they deem you as non-white, then you're going to get treatment, the non-white status. But if you're one of those people who feel you need to naturalize yourself and do all that, by all means, go right ahead. I ain't going to tell you not to. I'm just here to show us who we really are as a people. Because when we know who we are, we can behave that way. You're right, like Neely Fuller says. Now you're right, Star. Like Neely Fuller says. White and non-white. Somebody said knowledge of self don't matter if you're still powerless. Well, if you have knowledge of self and you're still powerless, then that means you might be a powerless individual. Because in my experience, knowledge of self comes along with power. Power comes along with it. Nobody can stop you from doing shit. The system is set up to stop the quitters and the powerless. So if the system stops you and you bend your knee to that system and allow it to stop you, then you might be powerless. Okay, I'm not speaking to you then. I'm speaking to those who get strength from understanding who they are. And once they understand who they are, they walk in that strength. They walk in that power. That's who I'm talking to. If you're one of the people who feel that you don't have the power, if you're one of the people that don't feel like you're good enough, if you're one of the people who don't think that we as a whole are great enough to make this happen, then you have two options. Continue to listen and start the journey of self-empowerment on your own, and maybe use this program and other programs like mine as a tool to grow, or just give up, turn up your booty hole, and submit. Those are your two options. And if you're one of the ones that gave up and you want to turn your booty hole up and submit, then this probably is not the channel for you, because I don't speak to that population. Respect, no hard feelings, no personal feelings. But if you gave up, nigga, that's on you. That is on you. You write dedication. Knowledge activates our pineal gland. P. Thomas asks, where's the knowledge of self military? You are the knowledge of self military. Look in the mirror. That's where it is. Unfortunately, brother, it seems as if you have given up and you've given away your power. The knowledge of self military is looking in the mirror. You don't see white society waiting on Donald Trump and Joe Biden to enforce white supremacy. No. Karen will walk her white ass over to your black ass in a newly gentrified black neighborhood and enforce white supremacy on her own. On code requires you to look in the mirror and do your part. If you're always looking around at what other people are doing, that means you are in fact powerless. You are. If this comes back to what other people are doing, what other people are saying, what other people need to do better to make things right, then yes, you've in fact given up your power. You've decided to be the table for others to eat off of. Own your decisions. You're right, Quan S. Racism is a team sport. Ramon James has a question. The Folsom people. Yes, the state of California is named after Queen Khalifa, goddess of war. Khalifa, caliphate. That's a Arabic name. Who spoke Arabic? Why is California named in Arabic? What language did the Moors speak? Arabic. Someone says we've been classified. Yeah. No, you knowledge born, you've been classified as non-white. Now, the name, the non-white name that you're classified under, that tends to change every 25 to 50 years. Some were Melungeons, some were colored, Negro, Black, African American, all come down to one thing, one classification: non-white. All of those other names are there to confuse you. No, P. Thomas, white people are winning because they decided to win. They decided they're not going to be under anybody's thumb. And they act that way. Case in point, what happened here in California. California wanted to have shutdowns. What them white boys in Orange County do? You can shut down all you want. But I'm going to open my business and I ain't going to wear a mask, and I dare you to do something about it. They have that type attitude. And their wins aren't much more than what we get. White society is still getting bitch slapped and pimped. They're allowed to get what they get because the 1% on top, uses them as a buffer class. And they've made the agreement they're willing to accept barely nothing, as long as that barely nothing is more than what black people get. You act as if they just winning. No, the fuck they ain't. They're subjugated too. They're just allowed to have more because of the devil's bargain they've taken. And it's niggas like you talking that be like, see, man, poor black folks and poor white folks are going through the same thing. No, we not. Poor white folks signed up for the devil's bargain. They volunteered for it. So they get rewarded. Trauma say, I'm going to this because I'm dragging more, beat up some European. Hey, them dragging more is kicking ass like a motherfucker, Trauma. It's part of why you're going through it. All history is a current event. Every group has its time on top. Every group has its time on the bottom. There's seasons to this. This last season has been their season to rule. A season that's coming to an end. We're subjugated because black people want to be subjugated. That's why we're subjugated. Black people overall are okay with our subjugation. And they hide being okay with subjugation behind, we ain't got the power to do nothing about it. What can we do against these great, mighty white people? They just too good, and we just need to do better. They win because niggas like y'all want them to win. And you hide your willingness and desire for them to win behind what we can't do. When history's already proven that we can do everything you saying we can't. When the president shows that we still do things that we shouldn't be able to do. Now. You're right, Keith Kelson, willing accomplices. Overall, we've been willing accomplices to our subjugation. Told y'all before about Denmark Vesey, had 9,000 people in South Carolina ready to put in work to end slavery in the year 1822. But it was one of those we need to do better Negroes that snitched him out to the slave master and got the revolt stopped before it ever got started. Again, knowledge of self. I appreciate that, Trauma. Because every time I go back in history, every time black people fight, even here in America, every time we actually fight back, we've won. I can't go to any time that we've actually fought back and didn't win. Now go back times that we started the fight, then we've given up. And then once we gave up, We allowed them to do whatever the fuck they wanted to do. I could point to plenty of that. But when we actually fought back like we did in the 1850s, we got ourselves up out of slavery. When we actually fought back like we did in the 1950s and 1960s, we got ourselves up out of that Jim Crow. But every time we get our problem as a people is every time we get ourselves out of a situation, we relax. We be sitting around thinking, oh, just because I'm not under that level of tyranny anymore, everything is good. And then we relax, and then these motherfuckers do a whole bunch of underhanded shit. And then 20 years later, we right back where we were because we stopped fighting. Appreciate the Cash App, Ramon James. Black people don't lose. Black people stop fighting. There's a difference. And I'm going to need y'all to understand the difference between not fighting back and losing. You're right, Roberto. A lot of us will not make it. And so for those of us who are self-motivated, for those of us who have a love of self, knowledge of self is just one of those things that we put in our toolkit for when we do confront the system. Because I'll tell you what has stopped black progress more than white supremacy. Black inferiority. Black inferiority has stopped more black progress than white supremacy ever could dream of. What's black inferiority? Black people feeling like we not good enough. Black people feeling like, okay, if I do it, they just gonna take it. Black people feeling like I'm not even gonna try. We just need to play basketball and rap, and that's our path to freedom. Because the only black people I see with money are either rappers or athletes. So I'm not even going to put coding in my child's hand. I'm not going to put masonry in my child's hand, engineering in my child's hand. I'm going to tell my child he needs to be the best basketball player to get a scholarship and to get out the hood. We only make those dumb decisions when we don't know better. I told y'all a long time ago, I stopped coaching basketball because of the time and dedication it took to be great at that sport. And if we just spend a third of that time in trades and other things, we could be out of our situation within one generation. But we don't do better because we don't know better. And for the people who are happily subjugated, you can give them all of knowledge of self that you want. They still gonna find a way to not do better and say, well, we behind enemy lines and we can't. It don't matter how much knowledge of self a coward gets. A coward is gonna be a coward. A coward gonna do as a coward does. But for the people with courage, you get them information. Now we cooking. See, a person with courage is going to flip that information into a tangible tool to defeat white supremacy in one of the 9 or all of the 9 areas of activities. See, niggas that gave up, they want to go right to, man, we don't have an army. We ain't got an army to defeat them. Fool, ain't no army fighting us right now. When was the last goddamn time you seen the Marines walking down Crenshaw Boulevard shooting niggas? They ain't not fighting us with their army. They fighting us in our minds. They fighting us through the school system, through propaganda, through economics, through politics, through labor. They darting us on all sides of the game. So it takes an all hands on deck approach to end it. The military is the last step, fool. Talking about we ain't got in the military. When was the last goddamn time you seen a Navy ship running up and down the Potomac shooting niggas in D.C. from Navy ships? We ain't fighting no damn military. We're fighting menticide. The roots of black folks killing black folks is menticide. It's lack of knowledge of self. So anybody going around talking about something, man, we ain't got an army. That's somebody who's defeated. They've already lost. And they want you, what do they say? Misery loves company. They want you to sit your defeated ass on down right next to their defeated ass. That's what that bullshit is. These niggas already lost. So no need to go back and argue with these kind of people. Just understand that you talking to somebody who's already been defeated. And they're trying to get you to give up your sword like they did so they can feel better about themselves. Remember that. I think of FBA Strong said they surrendered in puberty. I appreciate that, Courtney G. Man, we some dope motherfuckers. We just forgot. And I find the more we remind ourselves how dope we are, the better we react. That's why we have such an awakening going on right now. Y'all remember where black people were 10 years ago? We weren't this conscious. We weren't this involved. We thought Obama was going to fix it all. We were still partying in 2012. We thought, overall, black folks thought, okay, we got a black president. He going to take care of all this shit. Let us get back to hooting and hollering, balling and falling. Again, did we lose or did we not fight? You answer that. Same thing that happened after civil rights. My dad used to always say when the 70s came, my dad used to always say, we figured we got our rights. So when the 70s came, we was partying. Little did we know they was partying with our balls. My dad used to always say, we was out there partying, feeling tickled fancy free. Little did we know they was tickling our balls, making us feel good while they had the war on drugs in they back pocket, ready to drop on our asses. And we weren't ready for it. Black people were no longer fighting in the 80s. If we were still fighting, that war on drugs thing would have never happened. It wouldn't have been as successful as it was. They could have made the war on drugs, but it wouldn't have been successful. It was successful because we stopped fighting. And we thought the coast was clear. We thought everything was good. And we relaxed. Again, did we lose or did we just not fight? We don't lose. We just choose not to fight. Well, that's how it was in the past. This generation is a little bit different. See, we millennials and that Gen Z behind us and some of the younger Gen X, we're not impressed. We're going to continue to fight through reparations. Reparations is, when we get our first reparations check, that's going to be the start of this fight. God damn it. Let's just tell the truth. Our first reparations check is going to be the start of this fight. We still in warm-ups right now, homeboy. Yes, Quan, we do need our warrior class back. We need that. That's why these parents need to stop showing these goddamn, going along with every goddamn social agenda this degenerate country got, saying it's okay that boys beat girls. They're doing that specifically to strip us of our warrior class. What's up, Craig? Hotep nigga. Craig up in the house. Watch Craig Facts every Tuesday and Thursday. 4 o'clock Pacific time. Real black men getting together in a circle talking about real shit. Disagreeing and clowning. And then showing love again. When we fight as a people, we win. You're right, Star. Our warrior class is just misguided, but we do have them. We do. And we saw it this past... Good point, Star. I'm glad you said that. And we saw it this past summer, last summer. All we needed was no basketball on TV for 6 weeks. Our young warrior class flipped this shit. 6 weeks with no basketball, no football. And you saw what happened. Oh, shit. We need to bring these NBA games back. It ain't no coincidence they got the NBA going in through July. We in mid-July and still in the middle of the finals. And when the finals is done, what are they going to do? Go right to the Olympics. And when the Olympics is done, what do we get? Football. And then once football gets back in full swing, basketball is going to be right back. Our warrior class just got a little misguided, but we saw last year, you give the warrior class 1 month of no distractions, they'll change the world. P. Thomas, if you feel the new generation ain't figured shit out, it means it's your job to teach them. No new generation figures things out. Generations get the wisdom from the elderly, from the OGs. And this isn't just to that person that made that comment. This is for all of us who are now at OG status. If the new generation don't get it, guess whose fault it is? The old generations. You ain't giving them nothing to listen to. See, one thing about them young, them Gen Zs, I told y'all before, I've been working with kids for over 25 years. Gen Z ain't gonna just listen to you talk. They gotta feel your essence and know through your essence that you about it. And then they'll listen. But Gen Z ain't like other generations. They're not gonna just listen to some broke nigga talk about it all day and follow what some old broke nigga or what some old random dude who ain't done a damn thing he's talking about do. Gen Z ain't listening to you. If you haven't done and shown and proved what you talking about, Gen Z is going to look at you, roll their eyes, put the middle finger up, and keep doing Gen Z. But when you somebody who's thorough, when you somebody who's shown and proved, Gen Z will listen and they will run through a motherfucking wall for you. I'm living proof of this through what I do. Salute to the brothers on the Maryland Terrapins basketball team. I've had a few of them brothers hit me up and talk about how they listen to all my programs and implement what they hear when they're living their day-to-day lives at school. Salute to you young brothers. Them little young niggas hear the genuineness in what I say. They know I ain't bullshitting because when I speak, I'm speaking on what they've seen, and I'm speaking on what they've seen through the experience of me standing shoulder to shoulder, side by side with their young asses, standing in front of them when I need to. Salute to Gen Z. Salute to my younger millennials. I'm an older millennial. I'm 81. I'm a first year millennial. Salute to my 1990 and 1995 millennials. Ain't nothing wrong with y'all, but the younger millennials, like the older millennials like me, we've been misguided. So when you've been misguided by a group of niggas that done already gave up for so long, you ain't gonna hear shit that we gotta say. People gotta say. I love the younger generation. If you young niggas under 30 don't hear it from anyone else, hear it from me. I love you. You doing the best you can with what you got. The baby boomers, Generation X, some of us older millennials, we did not leave an economic foundation for you to benefit from. So you have to go outside of our community to eat because we did not build it for you. So I have nothing but love for you. Nothing but respect for you. Because you got it the best way you can get it, because we haven't left enough for you to get it the way you should be getting it. So for every one of these old niggas, you millennials here criticizing you, know that it's a 40-year-old black man who just turned 40, who's here, who loves you. I understand you. I respect you. And I trust you enough to know that you will have the answers as you sit down and think. But I also know the primary reason why you don't sit down and think is because the older generation of black people never showed you how to sit down and think. The older generation told you to listen to Jay-Z, become a LeBron James fan, go to college, and get a good job. That's what the old niggas taught you. The old niggas taught you to look up to an entertainer or an athlete and not themselves. That's where black folks need to do better. We need to stop pointing to TV figures to be the inspiration of the youth and be the inspiration of the youth through our action, through our walk, our talk, and our daily lives. Because if we establish that, we don't need these young niggas to go and get PPP loans and do PPP fraud. I have no criticism for you young niggas. None. None. Another thing I like about you young niggas is we rejecting that religion shit. For real, for real. See, me, when I was a young millennial, I accepted it. And I've had to spend the last 10 years of my life ridding my brain of all the bullshit that religion taught me. These young motherfuckers ain't accepting it to begin with. These 8-year-olds are like, nigga, fuck this shit. So salute to you young Gen Zs. Keep doing what you do. Keep doing what you do, young niggas. And salute to all the young niggas who was out there last year in the streets. Because for us, the riots was just in LA. You niggas took from what just the Gen X, they did a great thing. But those were localized revolts. This young generation went national with it. And because of the young niggas' action in the streets, the old Negro politicians are talking reparations. Something that they never would have brought up 2 years ago, 10 years ago. John Conyers brought that HR, even though we all know HR 40 is bullshit, he brought that shit around in the late 80s. And it died in the late 80s. They weren't talking about that shit. The minute the young niggas get out in them streets, though, all of a sudden is, hey, black people, huh? Maybe we do need to come back to the table. So salute to them young niggas. I'm about to get up out of here. Got a concert to go to tonight. Catalina Bar and Grill, one of my favorite places, back open. Rest in peace to Chick Corea, one of my favorite jazz artists of all time. Died during the corona pandemic. My last 4 or 5 times at Catalina Bar and Grill was to see Chick. So it's going to be a little rough seeing back in my favorite venue without one of my favorite artists still around, but we're going to see some jazz tonight. They have Larry Dunn on the keyboard from Earth and Fire. And then tomorrow I'll be at the Hollywood Bowl to see my man Kamasi Washington do his thing. Because I love us. I love our music and I love our culture. And I celebrate it every chance I get. I appreciate that dedication, 666. And rest in peace to Biz Marquis. Rest in peace to Biz Marquis. And also rest in peace to today, 59. Was it 59? Rest in peace to Billie Holiday. The great Billie Holiday. She died today, July 17th, 1959. Lady Day. One of the great foundational Black American queens. Billie Holiday sacrificed her career when she sang Strange Fruit. Come on now, this thing, I'm trying to get a picture up. I found a good picture of Lady Day, but damn. This shit over here acting like it don't want to come up. There we go. Rest in peace to Billie Holiday. Here we go. Here we go. Lady Day. She sacrificed her career for us. She sang a song called Strange Fruit in 1937. A song that talked about the lynching in the United States of America. Lynching became a popular subject because of the work of our sister, Ida B. Wells. Ida B. Wells, whose birthday was yesterday, July 16th, 1862. Ida B. Wells spent her life journaling the savagery and brutality of white supremacy. Her parents died at her age of 16 of the yellow fever pandemic of 1878. She then had her information. She didn't believe in all the lynch talk, and then she saw it. And she talked about lynching so much, she was chased out of Mississippi. Not Mississippi, chased out of Memphis to the north. But she still came down to the South and reported all the lynchings black men were going through and black people. So in 1937, Billie Holiday sang a song. She didn't write it, but she sang a song called Strange Fruit that shook the world. Billie Holiday was then cast out of New York, and she was not able to sing under her own name for over 5 years. Billie Holiday paid a political price for standing up for black people. We must always show reverence to our queens, Billie Holiday and Ida B. Wells, for playing their part. The song Strange Fruit is what spurred on the civil rights movement. Both Elijah Muhammad, Medgar Evers, they all talked about the impact that song had on them as youth coming up during the 1930s. Martin Luther King talks about the impact that song had on him as a youth. Black society, we got warriors. We got people in our society who've already won. They showed us what winning looks like. It is our duty as a people to honor them and continue the fight. If you're one of those people who have an excuse every time there's time to stand up for yourself, keep it to yourself. Or tell somebody else who gives a fuck. Because we're not into your excuses over here. We're not into your reasons as to not. We're not into your reasons as to why things can't happen. Or why things go wrong. Or why things are too hard. If you think it's too hard, sit your ass down and leave us the fuck alone. Because I'm inspired by Ida B. Wells. I'm inspired by Billie Holiday. That's where my blood comes from. People who can interpret the ills of society and do it still looking beautiful, still being queens, still being magnificent. That's who we are. Remember that. And remember this. I also remember that Susan B. Anthony, when she asked Ida B. Wells to join the feminist movement, Ida B. Wells said, fuck you and fuck no. So, I keep getting Margaret Sanger and Susan B. Anthony confused. They're both white supremacist bitches. Susan B. Anthony had Ida B. Wells' business burned down because she didn't want to listen to the white woman. Yet Ida B. Wells kept pushing along. Because Ida B. Wells is a god. Billie Holiday is a god. You, all of you out there, you're gods having a human experience. P. Thomas, you've done enough talking. No one's listening to you. Shut the fuck up. All right? Thank you. No one's listening to your cowardice. As a matter of fact, chat room, time P. Thomas out. We don't have time for cowards. Black people knew Billie Holiday was LGBTQ, but Billie Holiday was black first. You can be LGBTQ all goddamn day as long as you black first. And she was black first. Be LGBTQ all the fuck you on. You can doodle in dicks if you a dude. You can wallow in pussies if you're a woman, if you so choose. As long as when you get about that bed, you about black first. No one's here to listen to you. I should have asked y'all to time that dude out a long time ago. But I ain't really been looking at the screen like that. But every time I look up, I see somebody talking about why we can't win, why we lost. Get the fuck out of here. Your energy is not welcome in this environment. This is not an environment where everyone gets a turn to speak. No. Black folks, nothing we need to cut off as a people. Everybody don't get a turn to talk around here. Dwann talks. This is Dwann B's channel. I talk. And those of you on code, people on code get to talk. If you're not on code, you don't get to talk. You don't have a voice in this channel. You have your own YouTube channel where you can go and talk all of the off-code bullshit you want to talk. You can toot your booty hole upwards and put it at an angle for that white man to enter because that's what you want. Do it on your channel. I don't want to smell that dookie over here. This is a dookie-free channel. There is no turning your booty hole up on this channel making excuses as to why you can't. Everybody does not get a turn to speak. No. No. Especially losers who've already lost. Get the fuck away from us. And I kept it going, black folks, because I wanted to do that. I wanted to show, no, we the only people that think everybody gets a turn to speak. No, the fuck y'all don't. No, you don't. And for those looking for my one-on-one consults, email me info@breakthroughas.org. I have my private sessions. You have 15-minute sessions, 30-minute sessions, hour-long sessions. Or if you can't remember, all that's in my link tree. My link tree is all in my description box. My website to my breakthrough advocacy services, that's in my link tree. You can go there, and if you want to meet with me one-on-one, have a consultation, My breakthrough advocacy website is in my link tree. Fill out the contact form at the bottom. And then we can set something up. But I'm going to start doing that. I probably should have kicked old. I probably should have muted old boy earlier. So for those who you are moderators, you have the freedom. If you see someone in the chat room that's constantly being contrarian to what we're talking about, feel free to mute them. You ain't got to kick them all the way out, but mute them. Now, if they come back in after they've been muted on that bullshit, then you kick them out. But mute them first. And if they get the picture, we'll allow them to stay. But if they come back after being muted and trying to take over the chat room with their contrarian bullshit, then at that point you kick them out. Because oftentimes when I'm talking, I don't really talk to the chat room. I don't really look at the chat room when I'm kind of on a monologue because my mind be focused. And if I look at the chat room too long, I'm going to lose focus and lose my train of thought. So I go 10, sometimes I go 10, 15-minute blocks without even looking at the chat room. And then I may peek at the chat room every 15 minutes. So for my moderators out there, if you see someone being always contrarian to what we're talking about, and this is a warning to those of you who want to use my chat room as a stage for you to lift your little ass voice and be contrarian to what I'm saying, you will be muted. This is not your environment. This isn't for you to speak. We don't give a fuck about your contrarian thoughts and ideas. You're irrelevant over here. If you want to feel welcome and wanted, talk to your mama. That's the only person on earth that's required to welcome you and want you. The rest of us don't give a fuck. Thank you, Star, for the email. info@breakthroughas.org. What's up, Netta J? That's a good idea, Dedication 666. Make them cash at me to get back in. That's a good one. Yeah, maybe. That's a good one. If they want to get back in, you can hit me on the Cash App and be like, hey, man, I was in one of your chat room fucking up. I just wanted a little bit of attention, man. Let me get back in the room. And for a fee, we might be able to make that happen. For a fee, we might be able to let that happen. Remember to get my book, No Time to Waste, Self-Motivation Guidebook. And also get my class coming up, my communication workshop, Communicating Racism to Your Children and Young Adults. How to communicate racism to them in a constructive manner that's going to give them the tools to move forward in life and deal with white supremacy. I've been on for 2.5 hours. I got a lot of shit to do today. I'm about to be out of here. So remember this. There are no perfect messengers. Only perfect messages. For those who are willing to do something about it. My name is Dwann B. Oh, and also, I forgot to say, rest in peace to John Coltrane, who also died July 16th. Rest in peace to Coltrane. And and big love to all of our ancestors, those who laid the groundwork before us. My name is Dwann B. We out.